Rico had always been skeptical of ghost stories. Urban legends were just tales told to scare children. Or so he thought. That changed when he inherited his late uncle's old countryside house, deep in the mountains of central Java. It was an old wooden house, weathered by time, sitting alone near the edge of a dense forest. Rico arrived on a cloudy afternoon, the sky thick with the threat of rain. The air smelled of damp earth and rotting wood. Vines had climbed the sides of the house, and the windows were dark and dusty. Inside it was cold, despite the humid air outside. The floor creaked under every step, as if groaning in protest to Rico's presence. Rico planned to spend only a week, enough time to clear it out and decide whether to sell it or renovate. The first 2 days passed uneventfully, but he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He often turned around suddenly, convinced someone was behind him, only to find nothing. On the third night, he heard it. It started as a faint whisper, unintelligible at first, coming from beneath the wooden floorboards in the living room. He pressed his ear to the floor, heart pounding. It was clearer now. The whispers were calling his name. Rico. Rico. He shot up, stumbling backward. He tried to rationalize it. Wind, pipes, an animal. But the sound persisted every night, always around 2:17 a.m., always whispering his name. The next morning, he pulled up the carpet and pried open the floorboards, where the whispers seemed strongest. Beneath, he found a sealed trapdoor, covered in strange symbols carved into the wood. The air that escaped when he opened it was cold and foul, like something that hadn't breathed fresh air in decades. The trapdoor led to a narrow staircase, descending into complete darkness. Rico hesitated. Every instinct told him to leave it alone, but curiosity or perhaps something else pushed him forward. He descended with a flashlight. The walls were close, suffocating. The smell grew stronger. At the bottom, he found a small underground chamber, lined with wooden shelves filled with jars, each containing what looked like hair, teeth, and dried blood. In the center of the room was a circle of stones and a pile of burnt bones. Above them hung a single mirror. As he approached it, the flashlight flickered, then died. He stood in darkness. That's when he heard it again. Whispers, louder this time, closer. Then a scraping sound. Something was moving around him. Fumbling for his phone, he turned on the flashlight app. In the mirror, he saw it. A pale figure, eyes black and empty, mouth stretched unnaturally wide. It stood behind him. He turned. Nothing. But the whispers turned into screams. He ran. The stairs seemed longer, endless. When he finally burst out into the living room, the whispers stopped. The door to the basement slammed shut on its own. For the rest of the night, Rico sat with his back to the wall, lights on, clutching a kitchen knife. At 2:17 a.m., the whispers returned. Not from below this time, but from behind the walls. And now, they were not just calling his name. They were begging. Let us out. Join us. Rico tried to leave the next morning, but his car wouldn't start. His phone had no signal. He hiked into the forest, hoping to find a road. But the forest twisted unnaturally, looping him back to the house every time, no matter which direction he walked. By the fifth night, he began seeing figures at the edge of his vision. Tall, distorted shadows with long fingers and hollow faces. They never moved when he looked at them directly, but they were always closer. On the seventh night, the power went out. The house was completely dark. The moon was hidden by thick clouds. At 2:17 a.m., the front door opened by itself. The floorboards creaked. Something was coming in. He hid in the closet, barely breathing. Through the slits, he saw a procession of figures, dozens, walking silently into the house. Some were missing limbs, others had no eyes, no mouths. They surrounded the living room, facing the trapdoor. It opened slowly, without anyone touching it. From the darkness below, a tall figure emerged. Its body twisted, bones cracking with every movement. It had no face, only a wide mouth that stretched from one side of its head to the other. It spoke. "You opened the gate, Rico. You brought us back." They turned to the closet. He ran. This time, the forest did not stop him. He didn't remember how he got out. He woke up in a hospital 2 days later, found by hikers on the road, unconscious and dehydrated. No one believed his story, but he never returned to that house. 2 months later, the property was sold to a developer. When construction crews arrived to demolish the old house, they found it had already burned to the ground, charred black as if struck by lightning. But there was no storm that night, and in the ashes, they found a mirror, unbroken, still hanging, alone, from a burned wooden beam. The last thing the foreman reported before quitting the project was seeing his own reflection smile back at him before it whispered his name.